So with 2024 at a close, I wanted to go back and take a look at the best designer fragrances of the year. It's been an anticlimactic year when it comes to fragrances in general. With that said, it was top heavy. There was some really good ones, but for the most part, it was just a bunch of like odd end flankers that nobody really gave a crap about. With that said, I'm going to go through and talk about my top 5 designer fragrances of 2024 as well as 2 runners up. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude. Happy New Year to all of you guys. I wanted to go through today, and I usually do this at the beginning of December. So once every 3 months I go through, and at that point in time I tell you my top 5 designers at that point. So far this year, the designers really haven't changed. The beginning of the year was when most of them came out anyway. We've had like 60 new designer fragrances this year, and honestly, 45 of them are forgettable. They were just flankers on flankers on flankers on elixirs on intense parfums. It was just, I mean, most of them were okay fragrances. It was just, I wouldn't recommend most of them to people. It was very forgettable. There was, again, top heavy, so there was some really good ones out there that I'm going to be talking about today. The one that I'm leaving off this list that I know a lot of people would probably have on their list is the Boss Bottled Absolute. It's just, for that one, I've talked to you guys about that on my live. I like it. It's a little bit too strong for my liking, though. It's not the scent that I don't like. It's the fact that it's just way too strong for me and my wife. And it's a bit redundant in comparison to the elixir and stuff like that I actually like the elixir and Triumph elixir better. So I'm not going to be putting that on this list. But anyway, I digress. Before we get into the video, make sure that if you're not already, you hit the subscribe button. Everybody on the way in, hit that like. Comment below. Let me know some of your favorite fragrances of the designer fragrances of 2024. With that said, I'm going to give you guys 2 runners up. One fresh, one warm. The first one is Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Lover. This one is actually a really good release. Very underrated. It's nothing spectacular. It reminds me of Le Male Eau Fraiche if it was a bit warmer, which is kind of just takes that Le Male DNA, modernizes it, makes it a bit fresher. And Le Male Lover, it has that kind of, it's almost like a floral vanilla with an aromatic touch in the background, but very wearable, smells great, has a little bit of almost like a citrus fruity top to it. But Le Male Lover, very nice, fresh, clean, slightly warm fragrance that can be worn pretty much all year round. Very, very versatile. And honestly, if you haven't tried it, it's one of the better Jean Paul Gaultiers. And it's my second favorite fresh Jean Paul Gaultier of all time. With that said, the other one, this could make the top 5. But honestly, again, this year was top heavy. And I couldn't decide whether to put this in at number 3 or number 5 or even outside the top 5. I put it outside the top 5 just because the other 5 are so good. This is Mugler Amen Phantasm. I almost said Amen Ultimate. Mugler's Amen Phantasm. It should be called Pure Chocolate. It's that Amen DNA, that chocolatey patchouli. If you just kind of amped up the chocolate, it is a nice little dose of bergamot in the opening that just provides a little bit of a citrus tone. But don't get that twisted. That goes away after about 2 minutes. And this is kind of like almost like powdered chocolate, cocoa balm mixed together with that chocolatey patchouli to give a little bit of an earthy aromatic backbone. It's a slight gourmand, leaning gourmand, definitely for the fall and winter. Bit powdery, lasts about 6 to 7 hours, if not a little bit more than that. But it's not a heavy projector after 2, but it is a very nice wear in the cool months. It's a very heavy fragrance for the first 2 hours, though. Once it starts to calm down, it's really nice. But you have to like sweet gourmand facets in fragrance, and you especially have to like chocolate. It's like a powdered chocolate, almost like Nesquik It kind of reminds me of like that. If you're looking for like hot chocolate, like the hot chocolate powder, kind of reminds me of that. Mixed together again with that kind of earthy aromatic patchouli. But it has a little bit of a green facet from the patchouli and the bergamot, but that is Mugler's Amen Phantasm. Very nice. I loved it when it first came out, and I still do like it a lot. I'd give it an 8.5. With that said, it has drawn down a bit for me as I've worn it, just because now I've got used to it. It's like it brought it down from just the excitement of getting a new Mugler. But it still is very good. Going into the actual top 5 list. So this one is probably the best fresh designer release of the year. It's very similar to other fragrances if you kind of just added in this kind of minty eucalyptus. This is Mont Blanc Legend Blue. Yes, I'm putting Mont Blanc Legend or a Mont Blanc in the top 5 of a year. It hasn't happened for a while. Mont Blanc Legend Blue. It reminds you of the Mont Blanc Legends, Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, Percival. It reminds you of all of those. If in the opening you added this kind of mintiness to the fragrance, so it's a minty blue fragrance, but in the opening, it also reminds you, if you've ever smelled Boss Bottled Absolute, not Absolute, Absolute, where it has almost this kind of fresh and fruity mintiness to it, a slight, almost aquatic tone. That's kind of what the opening 5 minutes smells like, but then it gets more into that Mont Blanc Legend DNA, that Percival DNA that you know, fresh citrus salad, clean, and then you mix that together, almost a bit of ambroxany with that mint. And so it's a cooling blue fragrance, very nice, very modern, really nice. And again, you get about 6 to 7 hours with that as well. It's a really, really good designer fragrance for under $40, at least from what I've seen. Going into the next one, this one could be higher on the list, but as far as wearability, I had to put it at 4. This is Stronger With You Tobacco by Emporio Armani. Stronger With You Tobacco is the first Stronger With You that I can say doesn't fully smell like a Stronger With You right off the rip. So most Stronger With Yous, you smell it and you're like, okay, that's like 90% the Stronger With You DNA with a twist. This one, the Stronger With You DNA, while it is there at times noticeable, it's more into the backbone with this really nice spice and tobacco, and it's a dry pipe tobacco that is just blended at the top. It's 80% of the fragrance. You have to like really dry, masculine pipe tobacco, smoky tobacco on top of this fragrance. And then underneath that, you get that chestnut vanilla resinous mixture that you know from the Stronger With You line. Almost like that candied chestnut smell. That is underneath this Stronger With You tobacco. Again, this is the first one with Stronger With You Oud and Stronger With You Leather and Stronger With You Amber. Well, Amber is a different story, but they all kind of focus on the Stronger With You DNA and just add in a little bit of leather, a little bit of this, and they never really focus on what the main note is, which is supposed to be tobacco. In this one, they do. They focus on it. You have to like, and this is niche quality tobacco, high quality tobacco. Is again almost this kind of nice cinnamon spice mixed together with a very dry pipe tobacco. It's very, very dry pipe tobacco. And then a little bit of smoke. But it's really nice. It's just a situational wear, more for the cool weather or nights out. I'd say don't wear it over 70 degrees, but Stronger With You tobacco, really nice fragrance. This one actually lasts 10 plus hours. Very, very good fragrance. Going into the top 3 of 2024. So I was mentioning this at the beginning of the video. I wouldn't put Boss Bottled Absolute in the video, and that is because Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir, which I forgot came out in 2024. It's been such a weird year and such a long year that I forgot this came out in the very beginning of 2024, along with what's going to be the next one. We have 2 bosses in a row. Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir is my favorite from this new DNA. I also really like Elixir. It goes Triumph Elixir, then Boss Bottled Absolute as far as the 3 with the new patchouli DNA. And so they really ran with it. Boss Bottled has really killed it. Boss has really killed it this year, last year, with the new scent line, the way that they're rearranging the scent line, and now that they're rearranging the Boss Bottled line, going away from that apple accord and really focusing in on this really incense and patchouli. And they do the same with this. This is Boss Bottled Elixir. If you make it a little bit more wearable, slightly sweeter and greener, that is what this is. There is nothing more to talk about. It is definitely more of your masculine style fragrance. If you haven't smelled any of them, definitely has that smoke, that incense. The patchouli brings a little bit of almost like a sweetness to the scent. And then you get a bit of a creamy woodiness underneath the fragrance. But Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir, just again, a greener, semi-sweeter version of the, like a more wearable version of the Boss Bottled Elixir. And it's very, very nice. And again, it's about an 8 to 10 hour fragrance. Going into the other Boss, number 2 on my list of 2024, Boss the Scent Elixir. The first release of 2024 is number 2. It could have been number 1, easily could have been number 1. Honestly, all 5 of these could have been 1 through 5, doesn't really matter. Boss the Scent Elixir. It's between this and Magnetic, which came out last year. The 2 years in a row were my 2 favorites from the line. Even though Private Accord's very good, that's discontinued now. It's basically they took the scent or the scent Magnetic, whichever you choose. It doesn't have that brand absolute from the Magnetic, but it has everything else. So it has the Maninka fruit, but this one, it's almost like if you took that scent DNA, the Maninka, the sweetness, a little bit of a powdery tone, and then mixed it together with Spice Bomb Infrared, that pepper, pink pepper mixture. You get the sweetness from the pink pepper, you get a little bit of spice. It almost smells like if you took Spice Bomb Infrared and blended it together with a Maninka heavy version of the scent DNA, which again, it's almost like scent Magnetic without the brand absolute mixed together with Spice Bomb Infrared. It's sweet, spicy, unique, classy, very, very nice fragrance. Great for the night out, great for the cool weather. That is great. I mean, as you can tell, I'm really hyped on the cool weather ones from this year. And going into my number 1. So my number 1, I actually don't have a bottle of right now. I had a 20 milliliter decant, almost gone out of it, and then I got a bottle, and then I gave it away. So I gave it away as a giveaway. So with that said, I am buying another one, but I still have like 15 milliliters of my decant. But I decided to bring out the prop. This is Gentleman's Society Extreme. This one is the original Gentleman's Society. But Gentleman's Society Extreme is the number 1 of the year. I almost made it number 2, but it is number 1. Gentleman's Society came out, and a lot of people liked it. It was kind of like me, in between 7.5 to an 8. Very nice, easy wear, vanilla iris fragrance that has this nice woody Palo Santo, giving it a nice creamy backbone. Very good fragrance, has a bit of a powdery facet as well, but it wasn't like great. Well, this year they came out and they made it great. They smoothened out all the lines. They blended all the edges. They put it all together and made the scent, or the Gentleman's Society, just smoother, all around better. And then as you mix that together with this new coffee that they added, they called it cold brew, but it just smells like a nice creamy roasted coffee. Mix that together with this well-blended, smoother version of the original Society, and that is what you have with Gentleman's Society Extreme. And I can tell you, it is fantastic. It's like a 9 to a 9.5, one of the better fragrances of the year. They really put a spin on the Gentleman DNA with the Society, and now they just perfected it. And now they're coming out with another one called Gentleman Society Ombre, which I'm really looking forward to, adding leather and amber. And so I'm really looking forward to that. But I really enjoy the coffee in Gentleman Society Extreme. I'll probably end up wearing it today at some point in time. But I love the Gentleman Society DNA. It was just a little bit too simplistic. Adding in that coffee and smoothing and rounding out the edges was all they needed to do with the Extreme to make it from a 7.5 to an 8 to a 9 to a 9.5. And it is the best designer release of the year, in my opinion. You guys can tell me otherwise, but these are my top 5, as well as the 2 runners-up. The ones that I wear the most, the ones that I just absolutely love. There was some hits and misses this year. Big misses from YSL with the YSL Elixir. Still smells good, but it was more of a soapy bomb. We had Dior Sauvage with Eau Forte, I hate that name. And it just, it did not look nice, and it did not smell nice, as far as it was just kind of like woodsy and weird. And it looked like milk. It looked like something else, but my daughter's sitting over there, so I'm not going to say it. With that said, that is my top 5 fragrances, designer fragrances of 2024. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me give it a thumbs up on your way out. And again, Happy New Year to everybody. I will see you on the next one. Peace out.